Hello and welcome to the third session of SLST English discussion. In the last two episodes, we were much concerned about the introduction to Sir Philip Sidney as well as Astrophel and Stella and Loving in Truth. Now today we are to read and scan the text. So, in the very first line, the poet asserts that loving in truth meaning he confirms here that his love is full of passion, real and honest, not pretended one. The Elizabethan sonneteers always boast of their sincerity in love, especially for them love is a form of worship or adoration, eulogization. So in Shakespeare, interestingly, you will find that the persona in Shakespeare's sonnet in Black Lady Group says that love's best habit is in seeming trust. Habit means attire, dress. Love's best habit is in seeming trust. So love is based not on trust but on the pretension of trust. Philip Sidney is before Shakespeare, so you cannot compare Sidney's view of love with Shakespeare's. Whatever he says that his love to Penelope de Verac is sincere and honest. And fain in verse my love to show. Now see, here is a rhythm. And fain in verse my love to show. It's a clear iambic structure. Fain is an archaic word. Fain meaning eager. Archaic words, are often used in the Elizabethan poetry. He is quite very eager. My love to show. He is eager to express or manifest or give an outlet to his pent up agony and passion. This is an example of hyperbaton. Because of that, normal grammatical structure is reversed. Actual construction should be and fain to show my love in verse. But in order to emphasize, fain comes first, eagerness for manifestation of the self through verse. That's why verse comes first and the verb to show goes at the end. So what will happen if you express or manifest your love to the star of your sky? What will happen? Because she is already married to someone, some Lord Rich. Philip Sidney says that in line number 2 that sea, dear sea, if you mark that line, that sea, dear sea, might take some pleasure of my pain. So the pleasure the poet talks of is aesthetic pleasure. So my beloved Penelope de Verac would read my sonnet in order to gain aesthetic pleasure. And when for cultivating aesthetic pleasure, she will go through the sonnet, she will come to know of my pain which I feel in the absence of her, the agony which I feel after her marriage with Lord Rich. You will find that she, dear she, might take blah blah blah. So dear she, the way it is used, it is called parenthesis. Another two rhetorical devices have been successfully used. Number 1, some pleasure of my pain. This is a paradox or epigram, you may say, because how can pain result in pleasure? The answer is that the beloved will gain aesthetic pleasure when she will go through the sonnet delineating my pain and agony for her, my hankering after her marriage. Even if it is a tragedy, it will give us aesthetic pleasure. That kind of thing is stated here. This is the tragic pleasure. The other thing which is quite interesting is that the use of the word pain. Now, this word pain is a pun. It is related with pain, spelling P-E-N. That is, my pain will write my pain, P-A-I-N, my pain. And my beloved will gain aesthetic pleasure while she will read the sonnets delineating my P-A-I-N, pain, written by my P-E-N, pain. So this is a brilliant example of pun. So you can well understand that, like Shakespearean sonnet letter, this sonnet is that rare example of Elizabethan sonnets where the rhetorical devices are integrally related to the theme of the story. Now, as the situation comes, here we may refer to diphthong and monophthong. In pain, there is only one vowel sound, pen, that is monophthong. But when we say pain, gain, there are two vowel sound is combined to create a single vowel sound, that is P plus E plus I plus N. That E plus I combination is called diphthong. D-I-D, di means two. So this is an example of diphthong. So my dear friends, when you will tell, you will mean pain, ache. Well, you will mean ache, you have to say pain. When you will refer to that writing instrument, you have to say pen. Pleasure might cause her read. That same idea, that in order to gain aesthetic pleasure, she will read the sonnets, and you will see that pleasure might cause her read. This is an example of causative verb. সুতরাং প্রপার ট্রান্সলেশনটা হচ্ছে যে আর্টিস্টিক প্লেজার আর আকাঙ্ক্ষা তাকে বাধ্য করাবে পড়তে। রিডিং মাইট মেক হার নো, make again a causative verb. So while she will read the sonnet, she will come to know. You will see that there is the object is missing. Reading might make her know what? When the object is missing, either it means nothing or means everything. Here it means everything. অর্থাৎ যখন সে পড়বে রিডিংটা খেয়াল করবেন যে দিস ইজ এন এক্সাম্পল অফ জিরান্ড। সো রিডিং কি করবে না, তাকে জানাবে, মেক হার নো, কি জানাবে, অবজেক্ট নেই, দ্যাট ইজ সব কিছু জানাবে। লাইন নাম্বার 4, নলেজ মাইট পিটি উইন, অ্যানাদার এক্সাম্পল অফ হাইপার প্যাটার্ন। সো নলেজ মাইট উইন পিটি. The word knowledge here used not in the sense of wisdom. Knowledge is here simply the noun form of know, K-N-O-W. Understanding. So when she will understand or she will know my anguished condition, my lamentation in her absence, she will have some pity. She will take pity on me. সে আমার উপরে করুণা করবে। যে in her absence, as she has become the life partner of someone else, a lonely and cursed life, from that knowledge will be generated pity. Knowledge থেকে আসবে pity, করুণা, sympathy, and pity grace obtain. Another example of hyperbaton. Actual construction should be pity, obtain, grace. Grace means here love. Now, two things quite important here. Number one, pity is personified. This line is the climax of the first 4 lines of the sonnet. The lover believes that the pity which will be aroused within her when she will come to know of the pain and his languish, his agony, she will feel pity. And pity is closely associated with love. Now you must say, what is the relation between pity and love? একজনকে করুণা করা, তার সাথে ভালোবাসার কি সম্পর্ক? It is a conviction that if you can arouse some pity in the heart of your beloved, you have won half of the game. It is used again and again, the same idea in literature too. For example, in Dryden's Alexander's Feast, you will find that line, quote unquote, for pity melts the mind into love. In Thomas Southern's Orunoko, you will find the line, pity is akin to love. Not only that, in Othello, in Shakespeare's Othello, you will find that Othello asked Desdemona that he is a Negro, he is a black man, and there is Iago. Then why beautiful Desdemona is so much attracted to black Othello rather than to white Iago? The answer Desdemona gives is that she loves him because of the agony he has gone through in his life. Desdemona says that he loves Othello because of the pain and agony he has gone through in his life. So this is a common conviction that pity is akin to love. In order to generate love, you will have to first generate pity. Pity is the first step to obtain love. Now another important thing which I am to say here is that when we are talking of love, then why the word love is not used? In the place of love, the speaker, the lover, expects some grace. Why grace, not love, is used? Because as I have told you in my earlier session that love in the Elizabethan era is a divine concept. Beloved is the stella or star, the pole star of my life. You can compare when in Dante's Divine Comedy, when Beatrice meets Dante in Purgatorio, she chastises Dante for being not faithful to her after her demise. So Elizabethan sonneteers, they have some reverence, mind that, not amor. Amor means sexual love. The Elizabethan sonneteers always nurtures reverence, adoration for the beloved. The beloved is such an existence who will dispel the doom in his mind and arouse, awaken the soul within the man. The same idea was there in the Elizabethan metaphysical poetry, where Donne says that the love between him and Anne Moore was a kind of good morning to both of them. That darkness is dispelled. Donne's canonization, you will find the same idea. In Donne's The Ecstasy, you will find the same idea. The canonization, he says that because he loves Anmur so much spiritually. So he wants himself to be raised to the status of a saint. He wants to be canonized. That same idea of love is there. Actually, you know that always the reference will come to Shakespeare, and Shakespeare is always demolisher of ideas. He puts conventional ideas into questions. In Shakespeare's sonnet, after having last LUST, lustful relationship with the black lady, he suspects that the angel is in the hell. The beloved is regarded as a hell, a dark spirit, the company with whom might result not only in venereal disease, sexual diseases, but also a sense of shame. So, like Bernard Shaw, Shakespeare loves to demolish that established norm. Both of them are iconoclast. But Sidney, to some extent, tries to be an iconoclast, but he has not that mental courage to be as iconoclastic as the bard of Stratford upon Avon. So, in the first four lines, in so-called first quatrain, the whole plan of the poem is delineated. So, in the second quatrain, so-called quatrain, because the quatrain structure is not firmly established till now, he is seen to be engaged in writing poetry. From this section, it will be Horace's Ars Poetica, the art of writing poetry. I thought fit words to paint the blackest face of O. O, meaning agony, is personified. O is a man, suffering is a man who is itself so much tormented that its face is black, in jeopardy, and O sits crippled within his soul. So he wants fit words. Fit words means poetic diction, which is quite important. And interestingly, you will know that William Wordsworth, in his preface to the Lyrical Ballads of 1800, speaks to some extent of ignoring poetic diction, though in practical implementation he sticks very much to poetic diction. For reference, I can tell you that Wordsworth says that there is and there should be no difference between the language of prose and poetry. Means, as you go through prose with simple words, you will write with those very simple words in verse. But Coleridge, in his biography Literaria, part 14, challenged the Wordsworthian concept and says that there is and there always should be a difference between the language of prose and the language of poetry. Believes that the language of poetry should be ornamental, it should be gorgeous, basically it should be a kind of poetic diction. So he was frantically in search of fit words, means poetic diction, by which he would paint that black subdued face of that child called pain or agony, who is sitting crippled within his soul. Here begins that art of writing poetry. And for the first time in the Elizabethan sonnet, except love, some other idea intrudes. Studying inventions finds her wits to entertain. Again, an example of Ivar Batten. The proper structure should be studying fine inventions to entertain her wits. So, she takes the easiest way for composing the poem. He indulges in the art of literary plagiarism. So, he studied inventions, meaning he copied, he imitated the writing of the classical masters. Sidney was not the first man to fall in love and repent and cry. Before him, there is millions of lovers and poets are there. Lunatic lover and poet are of all imagination, all compact. So they have written their mental frustration in their poem. So Sidney takes the easiest way of copying from others. Their poetic creation is finer, classical. This idea of literary craftsmanship, of imitation, is called decorum in classical school of criticism. Especially Longinus call it decorum. And even T.S. Eliot also emphasizes the idea in his tradition and individual talent. From Petrarch or from Dante or from Ronsard, he tries to steal. What is the purpose? To entertain her wits. Now see, wit is itself a tricky word. The modern meaning of wit is a kind of humor, though there is some basic difference between wit and humor. Her wits to entertain. Wit means humor. We say he is a witty man. Oscar Wilde's importance of being honest is quite witty. But in the neoclassical era, wit means intelligentsia. Wit means that peculiar power by which one can assimilate different elements and find the perfect path. He is studying his predecessors' works and to borrow from them their stylistic features and utilize them in his poetry for conveying his mental agony and aspiration. You might refer to Horace in his Ars Poetica, who stressed the need for literary apprenticeship and imitation, and the idea had lasting impact on Renaissance theology. So we have gone through the first 6 lines of the poem, and you know that I am sweating because it is so hot and humid. So in the next I will go through the rest of the poem, and in the meantime, if you feel any kind of problem, put your problem in the comment section, and when in the next, probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, when we will discuss the rest of the poem, of course I will try to give you clarification to dissolve your confusion. So let me know how you are enjoying, and always keep in mind that the logo, the motto of Government of India is there. That motto from Mundak Upanishad, Satyameva Jayate. The truth will prevail. It might be eclipsed for some time, but you will get justice. Your talent, your sweat, your proverbial burning of the midnight candle must inculcate in good result. So never say die attitude should be the essence of our existence. Be honest to yourself and whisper always in your ear faith in yourself and faith in God. That is the secret of success. And if you feel bored, just take a break, sit down in a chair, close your eyes, take your breath for 10 seconds, hold it for another 10 seconds, and release through your nose continuing the last 10 seconds. This 30-second breathing exercise is miraculous. Remember, when you will practice this breathing exercise, as if you are giving up the burden of your body in the chair, you are feeling light and concentrate on the circulation of oxygen and the outgoing of the carbon dioxide, and you will feel yourself quite recharged and rejuvenated. So practice. We will meet very soon. Till then,